Hi everybody, so this is A.R.S.E, a Random Sonar Explains, and we're going to do a take two on isolation of reality theory, which is my personal theory on how reality works on a quantum level, and it's a counter to the many worlds theory, which is probably the most popular physics model in use right now. Anyway, so the basis for my reasoning is the way photon dynamics works, meaning that the way we interpret light is the way we also interpret reality. Meaning that before you look at a light source, it exists in a quantum state of every possible spectrum, from infrared to ultraviolet. And when you look at the light source, it becomes one color or one beam of light, it collapses. And like I said, I think that's the way reality works. Before we experience reality on the arrow of time that we're on, there's all these different possible realities in existence, and through choice and experience, we experience one reality. And the interesting thing to me is that it seems to be a shared observable reality, meaning that we all seem to be sharing the same reality, as individuals. So the thing about consciousness, the I think therefore I am aspect of philosophy, is that we're not sure as, where consciousness comes from. Like, is it a part of the universe and we tune into it the way a radio tunes into music, or is it in us? And and what happens after we pass to that consciousness. Anyways, I don't want to get too far off the track with the metaphysical. Back to what I was talking about in reality. So like I said, the same way light works, you look at a light source, it collapses from the many possible to one. Reality works the same way. It goes from the many possible to the one. The Schrodinger's cat thought experiment about, you have to open the box to see whether the cat is alive or dead. I mean, that's both, I think, it could be used either way, as the argument for or against both models, the many worlds theory and isolation of reality theory. But the way I see it is that there's two possibilities, then you open the box and there's one reality. That yes, the quantum state does exist. I'm not saying it doesn't, That's the other thing. My contention with the many worlds theory is not that it's wrong, it's just that it's backwards. I think we go from the many to the one, like I've said many times, not from one to the many. And what I mean by that is, so the main explanation for the many worlds theory, or the basis for it, is that when we measure the spin of an atom, which cannot be done in a binary fashion, left or right, up or down, we create two realities, one where it went both directions. Because up until that point, we don't know what state that atom existed in. And if you remeasure the atom, the two measurements, there's no correlation. You know what I'm saying? It'll go either way again. You know what I'm saying? But you want to measure it up and down. Like they say, you measure it up and down, it goes up. Then you measure left or right, it goes left. Then you measure again up or down. There's no telling where it's going to go up or down. It could go in either direction. So, anyways, I think, like I said, instead of creating two realities, there was two possible realities, and we experience one, and that's how it works. Like, I mean, well, like you could, okay, you could make a choice. Like every question, there's a yes or no. I guess maybe. But what I'm saying is just like, it's like I said, left or right, up or down. And I think as we experience that, up or down, left or right, the other part of that aspect is eliminated. It's not there anymore. It's not in reality. And so that's why it's isolation of reality theory. I'm kind of losing the thread here, but so I want to kind of cut it short right now. But what I'm saying is just like that, like, you know, the physics models. I'm not saying they're incorrect, you know, because a lot of people put up, you know, they're pretty okay. They're useful, and the thing about gravity is that once you introduce gravity to a physics model, it collapses, you know, both on paper, metaphorically, and in space, quite literally. And with math, when you introduce the concept of infinity, it destroys the math equation, you know, meaning that there's no rational answer because of the concept of infinity. And one thing I like to say about the universe, if the Big Bang was true, is that one thing becoming everything can only be irrational. There's no rational explanation for the universe. But yeah, so like I said, just, you know, I think, you know, because I've thought about this a lot, that's how it really works, you know. There's possibility and then there's reality. And you go from possibility to reality, not from reality to possibility, you know. It's just like, I mean, like I said, it could be that I'm dyslexic and I just see things backwards, you know. Because, like, I read the papers, A.R.S.E.org, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like I said, you read the paper, it makes sense, you know, except to me, we need to start at the other end and go that way, you know, start with the many and go to the one. But yeah, so I guess that's it. Namaste. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.